name is Carly, my pronouns are they, them, and this is another installment of my writing vlog. Welcome. I'm an indie author, I have a 9 to 5 in academic publishing, and I'm fitting my writing in between everything that I do. And I always wanted this to be like more of a almost de-influencing, anti-aesthetic vlog, just to show how it usually ends up when you're an indie author. You have like boxes of books lying around everywhere. For example, if you don't like if you don't make enough money to rent a storage space, it's going to be in your house. So this is what we're dealing with. Last week I had a really successful book event. There was a really lovely reminder why I'm doing all this, why I'm pumping so much time and effort and frankly money into this venture. I founded my imprint last year, and so far it has been a really lovely experience. Slow but lovely experience. I write queer fantasy. All my books are connected through like family lines, or one character might pop up in another book, but lots of them will be standalones. I'm publishing a series at the moment and a duology that will come next year. So there's lots to come. I always need quite a lot of um, in between time between drafts to give me the distance that I need to be very ruthless with editing, and then clearly also like the beta reading process and the copy editing process, cover design, everything needs to fit in somewhere. So I'm not someone who pumps out books as fast as they can. I'm going to, from this year onwards, do probably 2 releases a year if nothing kicks off and I suddenly have the funds to do more books a year. So basically all of the income from the books goes directly back into the books. That's my situation. This week I'm awaiting the proof copy of my 6th installment for my big fantasy series, Slow Moon. It's on its way. I got the shipping notification yesterday. And what I will do is then take a pen and tabs to it and give it a really good last scrub. The cover is not final yet, and hopefully that will also be solved in the coming weeks. But for me, it's important that I get this one underway. And in actually tomorrow, the 5th installment releases. And yeah, I need to see how that's going. I mean, it's always quite funny for the later books in the series. It's always I might be a mistake, but I think it's either people have jumped on the wagon or they've not jumped on the wagon, but you still have to make an effort to promote them. And that can be really difficult because in my head, I'm already many, many books ahead. So you always have this weird split going on between the thing that you're working on, actively working on, or the thing that's ready and releasing. I tend to be before schedule with everything to prepare everything, and the last weeks it actually has slipped my mind a bit because I'm already ahead, and that's something I need to work on. I also need to work on balancing all my tasks out so they're actually sustainable with having a full-time job as well. I'm also not very good at that. I tend to, when I'm starting on a first draft, I tend to latch on. Speaking of which, my first draft that I'm writing at the moment is called Dragon Watch. It's an installment in the series, but every volume in the series can stand on its own. and it's about a young person who wants to work with dragons and gets the chance quite by not quite by accident because they actually apply for the role, but they, in their heart of hearts, they don't expect to be accepted. And then they get accepted, and chaos ensues from there. So that's also what I'm working on. So the proof copy will arrive hopefully in the next 2 days. Then I want to write a bit more. At the moment, I'm just at the start of chapter 9, and the notebook that I'm using has space for 25 chapters. So at the moment, I'm thinking ahead to 25, and then I'll see where I am, if I need another book after that. Um, I also really need to read back on another project that I've typed up recently because I write all my first drafts longhand. The second one is then always getting it into the computer. So I need to read back, but yeah, that's something I need to do. And I also have some typing up to do, but it's not as urgent. So I'm probably just will do that here and there for another project. And next week, it's now officially next week, I'm going to Scotland and I'm really excited about it. I'm meeting my friend who actually designed my logo in Edinburgh, and then we'll go up to the Isle of Skye together. So I need to pack the car. I need to see what kind of projects I'm going to take with me. I might take the proof copy with me. I might also have another proofreading thing going on for the book that's going to be released next spring. So you see, there's lots of things in the works, lots of things that you need to find time for and keep in your head um, on their schedule, which is why I tend to be slightly before because it just otherwise it gets too overwhelming for me. Today, I'm thinking of just having a bit of a slow start to the week because the weekend was quite exhausting and I think I have recovered, but I still need like a bit of a slower start. So I might just take my manuscript to the coffee shop in my lunch break like I usually do and work on that and yeah, not pressure myself to do a lot of stuff on top. But yeah, that's and for today. I think I can stick to that. I think I can do that. Um, and then I'll update you after. See you in a bit. I just had a really, really good writing sprint. I'm now at the end of chapter 9. And I think I'm still trying to get the cart to go around. So we're still on the on the straight bit, and now I sort of need to try and nudge it to where I want to have, like where everything needs to go in order for it to work, where I want the story to end up. Um, I think it's going to be another travel plot, to be honest. Um, with what I'm planning, I think there's no way around it. Um, one of my recent manuscripts, I made an effort to basically, it's a one location book, but that's quite unusual for me. I usually have a fair amount of travel involved. So yeah, that's probably going to be the case here as well. Um, I think I'm getting there. There often is that often it happens that I surprise myself that my brain is a few steps ahead. And then I notice, yes, that makes sense if I want to tie it into that bit later. I'm approaching the point where the characters take over. Um, it's not quite there yet, but I can feel the pull. Um, and that's roughly where I would expect that to happen as well, around chapter 10. If it hasn't happened by then, it's going to become a slog. And the last time that happened, that it didn't get better, I abandoned a manuscript after chapter 16, which was horrendous, but it had to be done. Um, so I'm really, really hoping that this isn't what happens with this one. Um, and now I'm all written out. Now I think my brain has just flumped, doesn't want to do anything creative anymore, which is perfect because now I can go back to the other half of my working day. And that sometimes requires some creativity, but most often not. So I find I can deal with like jumping from these tasks really well if something like getting in the creative flow and then going back to something that has really clear rules that I'm familiar with. And I think in that way, it complements itself. That's what I'm thinking of. It's Tuesday evening and I've just returned from work. It's a really weird, it rains a tiny bit. It's not really warm, but it's still muggy somehow. It's really strange. I didn't get to write an awful lot today. I think I did 2 pages in chapter 9, but 2 pages are 2 pages. But today, there's actually something to celebrate. The fifth volume of Slow Moon has released today. And I was talking before about that I think I need to be better about hyping the books that are releasing because in my head I'm already far ahead. And I guess if you're in Pub and you have a marketing team, they're very focused on this one date, while I'm, as I said, there's so much going on that I sometimes think the releases themselves, especially as they are later in the series, they get lost a bit. And that's one of the reasons why next year I want to sort of scale down the publishing a bit to 2 titles a year. Unless something happens and I suddenly have money for more. But I think it's also something that you only experience by doing, that you tend to not give the new releases all the attention and the love they deserve. And yeah, I don't think that's something I have foreseen when I started all of this last year, like properly. I mean, I started writing in 2021, not writing as such, but the series I started writing in 2021. Um, and I always knew that I was very focused on the first drafts because that's where my joy is. But then having the proper books out in the world is another kind of joy. And I really need to learn and celebrate that as well. So mm, I don't think I'm going to write again today. I think I'm just going to veg out a bit. It has been a bit of an odd day today. Um, and as I said, mostly it's weather related, where we're in sort of in between days between heat waves, I think. And I'm also, my head is involved in, oh, what do I need to gather for Scotland? So I've just now I put, some tin plates. I have a tin cup, and I also like to bring one of my kitchen knives, just if I can, when I'm in a car. Just you never know what you find when you're in rented accommodation, and knives tend to be horrible um, when when you rock up and there's just nothing there. And I need a good knife that can double as a bread knife, if possible. So yes, so I've started to do a bit. I think also at least the last charge of my washing has dried, so I can put a bit more together. I think it's not supposed to be horribly hot, but not extreme, not very cool either. So I need to bring a good mix. I think I'm going to bring a big suitcase, definitely bigger than I would if I would fly. So yeah, I'm definitely planning on making the most of driving up. And I'm also starting to plan a bit how to go about it, because I actually have like a work event on the evening before I'm driving, and I might set up from there. It might make sense. I have to look at the route and see if it actually, because I'm already further north, if I basically go down an hour, sleep for, I don't know, 3 hours, possibly, I'm surely too excited, and then go back up and basically have like 2 hours back and forth, or whether I set up after the work event, like set off after the work event, and then see if I do a longer rest somewhere along the road. I might do that. As I said, I need to look online what would make sense, especially as at the moment lots of roads are closed during the night. So it might be really difficult for me to go down and up again. Um, yeah, that's all the speculations at the moment, but I'm already getting really excited, which is amazing. I'm really longing to be on the road. Usually I'm okay with driving long distances by myself. I've started to compile audiobooks, and I need to download a few more podcast episodes. I have a few favorites. Ologies is one of my absolute darlings. I love this for a longer trips. It's basically each episode is a new field of science, and you learn so many great things. So that's me all in preparations. Tomorrow, I'm going to work from home, so I will probably have a longer lunch break than today, and then just get a bit of writing done and see if I take my laptop tomorrow to do a bit of rereading, re-editing. Um, yeah, that's all for tomorrow to decide. It's Wednesday morning. I've updated the website to signal volume 5 is now out, and I had a really lovely surprise, um, since book lover Laura featured me and my books. I've had an amazing outpouring of support. I logged into my Amazon reports and noticed that the boy who played the Queen had 2 copies purchased since then. That is amazing. Thank you so, so, so much. I can't even begin to describe how difficult it is to break into the indie market if you're writing anything that's out of the ordinary, that is your own thing, that does not follow trends. And yeah, this together with the really successful event at my local Pride, where I sold many more books than I thought I would, just give me such a boost because I'm pumping attention, time, and money into books. I believe they need to be out in the world because there were people like me, teenagers like me, who were walking a very thin ridge of self-hate, suicidal ideation, to be honest, just because they didn't see themselves in the world. And that's one of my goals with publishing my books, is to invite people into a world where they can see themselves, they can find themselves, they can find refuge. And to know that people are interested in the concepts is beyond amazing. Apart from that, I got a new haircut yesterday. I mean, I cut my hair, and today's market day. I won't get any flowers, I think, because I'm going away. So it would be a shame to waste them. Usually they last quite well, unless there's something I really can't resist. I shouldn't. I think I'm going to buy a few veggies, not too much. Again, I can't really stock up on anything because I need to eat what I have. The cupboard's actually looking quite empty, which is great. Fridge, yeah. Recently, I've been during the heat wave. I've been very preoccupied with frozen grapes, I only have like a really small freezer compartment, but I would just basically destem the grapes, wash them, and leave them in their little plastic thing and just push them in. And then they get sort of the same texture as sorbet or water ice, those long, colorful tubes you loved as a kid. That's the same texture. And yeah, I've been loving those. So I actually have quite a few grapes that I've I need to eat until next week. So yeah, maybe no fruit for me today at the market. Let's see. We can do another little market on haul. I thought that was fun. I've just come back. In the end, I didn't really write a lot because I met someone who I've talked to a couple of times. One of those acquaintances where they saw me writing in the coffee shop and we started talking. And now, whenever we see each other, we spend a few minutes talking together. And today it was just a longer session. But I went to the market. I have like a mini market haul for you. It was really busy today, so I didn't really want to film. I really want to be careful with people's privacy. So yeah, I got some pea shoots. They look amazing. Sometimes I do those myself. Today they were on offer and I couldn't walk past them. They also are a bit like, I don't know, like flowers in a vase, I suppose. They're just really pretty. I got some salad. I got two small cucumbers again. Again, this one has a little flower at the bottom of it, touch still. I got some apricots. Look amazing. And then, oops, a lemon and a regional specialty that is called a lardy cake. And it has currants and raisins. And can't get it many places. And the stand on the market, I think, has one of the best versions of this one. So I haven't had one for, I don't think I have bought one this year. So there's a sort of, because I knew I can't really go all out on the veggies and the fruit because I need to eat them before I go. Um, I bought something that's a bit more easier to take with me. So this is the market haul. And then when I came back, something else waited for me. And this is the proof copy that I've been waiting for of volume 6. So yeah, radical unboxing. And this is how it looks with the interim cover on. But this is really just the copy for me to do a last proofread on it. Um, this is how it looks inside. It has now. I've actually spoken to the friend I'm writing the science fiction project with, who is also a graphic designer and he loves making maps. So I hope that he might make some maps for my books. Basically, the only thing that I said to him was I really want them to work in black and white and they need to be readable, because one of my pet peeves for fantasy maps is that they don't actually work, especially in a paperback book. They're just too, maybe too detailed, or the labels are too small. So it just needs to be a map that actually does something and doesn't just look pretty. But yeah, so that's great news. So I'm going to put that in my pile for Scotland. Don't think I'll start working through before then. But again, might change my mind. Um, but that's going to be a nice thing to do while I'm out and about. It's Friday morning. The night actually has been quite cool, but it's supposed to be, I think, 27 degrees later, and also there are some thunderstorms forecast. So it's going to be an interesting day. um, I'm going to go swimming later, booked another session at the wild swimming place, so I'm looking forward to that. I've also packed a bit more for Scotland, so trying to get myself organized what I need to do before I leave. And yesterday evening, I started to read back over the manuscript that needs to go to beta reading at the end of July. So basically, I'm working to stay slightly before schedule so that when I'm coming back after my holiday, everything's ready to go out. I don't need to stress. I'm going to take the laptop to do a few other things, but my goal is to finish the read through a season of Frost and Blossom um, this weekend. So it's ready and waiting for me, and then I can focus on lots of other lovely things. And I think that's, uh, as ever, cautiously optimistic point to stop this blog for now, blog, and jump into the next one. Have a lovely day whenever you watch this. I'm so happy you're here. If you like my more relaxed, more I'm sitting down and ramble up the camera style of vlogging, subscribe and give me a like. That would be amazing. I'm just getting started. I have very realistic expectations, but I'm trying to do it as sustainably as I can. So I'm not putting myself under, like, it's not going to be another pressure on me, because if you've been watching a few of these episodes, there is there are lots of plates spinning if you're running an Indian print. Things that I think when you watch other vlogs, you might not have a feeling for what's actually entailed in doing all this. Um, that's my goal, really, to give you a more realistic portrayal of how you have to rearrange your time and your focus. I know that I'm in a very, let's not say special, but I'm in a position where I have my life arranged so the books are the main focus of my life. And I'm very aware that that's not for everyone, and many people don't want that. I have no qualms with that. I'm not saying my way is the right way. I'm just showing you an option of how you could do it. And with that, thanks for watching.